The March and April topic is out. Resolved. The illegal use of drugs ought to be treated as a matter of public health, not of criminal justice. Today we will examine 6 words and phrases of the resolution to give you a head start and framework in case development. First though, don't forget to check out our website at realcritique.com. There you'll find criterion and topic analysis, along with some current affairs. Also, don't miss any of our videos by subscribing to our channel. If you like what you see, be sure to click the thumbs up and like this video. As always, a link to the full transcript and source notes is in the description. So let's start by looking at the resolution as a whole. The standards here will rely heavily on the context. In the policy world, this is known as lexicon's best. In this resolution, running a framework without addressing the definition and context will most likely be weak. First, it should be noted that there is no geographic location for the topic. This doesn't exclude US-specific arguments, but it does weaken them as a strategy. The lack of specificity will also make solvency arguments harder to justify. Secondly, the resolution mandates a direct comparison between public health and criminal justice solutions. This should impact the affirmative burden more than the negative, but both sides will most likely have to address it. Thirdly, this is a rare resolution where defining the subject, illegal use of drugs, does not gain either side that much ground. We're not saying it will not happen, especially in squirrel cases, but without context of specific locales and therefore laws, there simply isn't much argument there. That doesn't mean that this phrase is irrelevant to the framework, as you will see. The first word the affirmative will want to look at is use. Oxford Dictionary defines use in terms of drugs as to take. This definition excludes manufacturing, trafficking, and dealing of drugs that some negatives might try to slip in their warrants, limiting the scope of the round. Limits is always a strong standard when applied correctly. This resolution is perfect for it due to its comparative structure. We're not advocating for a use framework, but the affirmative should be prepared for an extension just in case. On the other side of the file, the negative can apply a much broader definition of the word. An alternative definition found in Oxford is exploit a person or situation for one's own advantage. This interpretation lacks in context compared to the previous one, however, opens up a much wider ground for the negative. This concentrates on the manufacture and sale of drugs, suggesting it to be exploitive. At the same time, it eliminates the actual taking of drugs as the subject of the round, which will benefit the neg in most situations. Ought is a general argument in many LD resolutions, so we won't spend a lot of time on it here. But one competitive definition of ought is the Kantian philosophy of ought implies can. Here the argument is limited to what can be accomplished without dwelling on the solvency of the agent. This is accessible by both sides and opens the debate up to real-world capabilities of healthcare and criminal justice as mechanisms of human justice. Speaking of which, justice would provide a great value for either side running this interpretation. For more detail and some possible definitions on the ought implies can argument, check out an article we posted back in 2017. Link is in the source notes. Defining matter of establishes a jurisdictional argument within the round. Barron's Dictionary of Legal Terms provides a 2-part definition for the term as the substantial facts upon which a claim or defense is based, the subject of litigation upon which issue is brought before the court and joined. This interpretation sets the voter for the round to which system, healthcare or criminal justice, illegal drugs use belongs. By confining the judge within this framework, the debater forces a choice based on relevancy or jurisdiction instead of social obligation. Procedural arguments like this are always risky with lay judges, but the timing of the resolution at the end of the year could be helpful for your meta. This resolution is going to see a lot of definitions of public health. The majority of these, though, will fall into 2 categories which we will break down as individual and social. Starting with the individual, this interpretation will concentrate on the drug user. It will view drug abuse as a disease, therefore the user will be viewed as a victim. This will probably end up being the weaker of the 2 for the affirmative. On the other hand, a social interpretation will view drug use from the perspective of the community. Public health from this perspective will look at the quality of living and workspaces for the whole community. It will view drug use as an epidemic and may look at bystander effects such as emotional strain on family members. The affirmative is probably more likely to build a framework around public health, but there are reasons for the neg to look at the phrase in their constructive too. For example, combined with a restorative version of criminal justice, the neg may show the benefits of putting drug use in the hands of judges that can force rehabilitation. Not is an interesting word in this resolution. It certainly increases the affirmative burden. Going to the Cambridge Dictionary, not is used to give the next word or group of words a negative meaning. In this resolution's case, this means to affirm the resolution, the AF must prove that both illegal drug use is a matter of public health and that it is not a matter of criminal justice system. This is advantageous for the negative, as they merely have to disprove the affirmative arguments. There will be two obvious representations of criminal justice in the round. For the affirmative, criminal justice will be tightly defined as a punitive in nature and demonstrated through the bureaucratic justice system. It might also emphasize an inability to handle the cases of illegal drug use. Certainly will be portrayed as a harsh system with a poor track record in the status quo. The negative should take a wider view of concentrating on the system's restorative nature while maintaining the ability to punish where socially necessary. This interpretation covers both an individual and community perspective of public health that may be presented in the AF constructive. More importantly, when combined with the jurisdictional argument of matter of, it limits the affirmative's ability to create a perm between public health and criminal justice. This perm will most likely be more important to the affirmative than to the negative. That's it for our framework exploration of the March and April Lincoln Douglas topic, Resolved. The illegal use of drugs ought to be treated as a matter of public health, not of criminal justice. We haven't come up with all the angles, but hopefully this will give you a good start for building your framework. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more of what we have to offer at Real Critique, check out our website. There you'll find everything from LD theory to criterion analysis. Also, follow us on social media. Finally, subscribe to our YouTube channel and press that like button.